had a time to hang with. Always look at me and say the same shit. You promised me you would not. What am I saying? What am I? What am I? True mental liberation and circulation of Noone Science throughout the body of the Ethiopian race and all other oppressed races. This is a video response to two cult member followers of Dr. York, namely Malachi Disciple and Kansu Amun Ra, if I'm not mistaken, a non-Ethiopian individual at that. I'm only going to respond to this particular portion of the video right now that they did a live stream on December the 19th, I think. And Kansu said something very ignorant about what he claimed that the nature books are stating about space. And he said that basically Afro Uno didn't know what he was talking about because he said that space was empty. And so what we're going to do, as usual, is provide the evidence as far as what they said, and then we'll go from that and let the response, as we always do, bring forth the information and facts and things like that to show and prove, because they don't equal stand that when we say things toward them, it is information based, but it's also based upon the mischaracterization that they have of York. They think that he was all this and all that. That's not the case. So therefore, a lot of times his personal life does come up. On the other hand, they feel that it's okay for them to try to say what they say about Afro Uno, who they don't have anything to find, and they're utilizing his information, and then they disrespect the information at the same time. If I thought that somebody else's information was garbage, then it shouldn't be present in mine at all. And that's the sad thing about it. And this is why they're going to lose, because one, the time of the savior is over, and York is a savior, and he went out just like the rest of the saviors went out. And it's not that time anymore. It's liberation time. I mean, everybody got to stand on their own and accept what they've done, right or wrong, and move forward. And the sooner our race understands that, the better they would be off. So let's continue with what this mankind individual has to say.
The universe. That's it right there. Go to 8 minutes and let's hear him say that it's emptiness. The universe is empty. It's nothing, and it's empty out in space. He says the space is empty at 8 minutes.
It sounds horrible though.
That's cool.
Absolute nature is all space, all matter, and all time.
That's it right. Get your screens, Mom.
And inseparable. Absolute nature is all persons, all places, and all things, past, present, and future.
Okay.
Let it be known. Paragraph 7. Listen to reason.
7.
Of course, all space is endless vacuum, emptiness, and nothingness.
Right there. It says all space is an endless vacuum,
Something.
emptiness, and nothingness. He says all space is an endless vacuum, emptiness. So what he's saying is that space is empty. Now, this is the same thing that these Kakasu, Mukasu, or Tamahu Caucasian scientists say. If you go and look up any science quote or whatever, look up scientists, and you ask them, well, what exactly is out in space? What is outer space? They're gonna say either I don't know or it's empty. It's full. It's just nothing. It's empty. Now, this is the difference between Noone Science and Nuwaupu or Nuwaupu. Noone Science teaches that space is full of nothingness and emptiness, right? which is impossible. And this is the reason it's impossible. Because the master teacher has constantly taught us, what is the speed of light? The speed of light is 186,272 miles per second. That's how light travels. 186,272 miles per second. Now, what is preventing light, which is coming from suns and stars? What is preventing light from traveling at 186,273 miles per second? What's stopping light from traveling faster than what is traveling? Well, I'm gonna do just a small example from actual fact number 17, verse 25. It says, the entire universe is permeated with a basic energy which is of a rarefied concentration compared to the energy bundles which comprise atoms and quantum particles, right? Which we know in ancient Tamaray or Kemet or whatever they want to call it was known as Sahem. It says at 26, you will have a hard time trying to conceive of basic energy with the same understanding associated with energy, because the basic type had no motion and cannot impart force. And I'm going to skip down to 28. It says, and she, mother, Mu'at, is revealed, or matter. We know that the master teacher explained that matter comes from Ma'at. And she is revealed to you by evidence existing in a wave phenomena of the propagation of Nawur, or light, and that it moves the vibrations of the three colors, blue, yellow, and red, which birth all others. By this we know she is Pa'ut, or Kalum, or Temta, the existence, or the all. 29 says, this basic energy, or Ak, ether, is what imposes a limit on the speed of light. And it's all within dark matter. Therefore, space is not empty. And if you skip down to 32, it says, if space were truly empty or nothingness, listen to what it's saying now, completely debunking and completely correcting what is said in the nature books. It says, and if space were truly emptying or nothingness, then radiated energy or light would be able to travel at any rate, at any infinite range of speeds, instead of having an upper limit, which has been named the speed of light, 186,272 miles per second. So what we're clearly seeing is that these European Caucasian scientists and this misinformation in this outdated doctrine, which they call Noone Science, is false. Because if space was empty, then there would be nothing stopping light from traveling faster than 186,272 miles per second. Does that make sense, or does that not make sense?
No, that makes perfect sense.
That makes perfect.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is read from the introduction to the nature number 29, page 33 through 34, and let's see what the book says about what space is. But what we want to do is keep in mind, now he said that according to York, him siding what York is saying, that space isn't empty and that it's actually filled with matter and composed of matter, etc., etc. And that what Afro Unu was stating in the introduction to the nature by way of Nupu in the science Noone, that Afro Unu was indeed incorrect. But let's first define what space is in the introduction to the nature first, and then we should move on to the response. Listen to reason. Eternal infinite nature is three major existences: the existence of space, the existence of matter, and the existence of time. And these three most major beings are inseparable, because one cannot exist without the other, and the three are one. These three powers of absolute nature are inseparable unity, with each other. Absolute nature is all persons, all places, and all things, and past, present, and future. Space cannot exist without matter because it has never existed without matter and never will exist without matter. And if there were no matter ever, there would never be any consciousness to know and announce that space exists. In other words, if there is no consciousness of the existence of a person, place, or thing, as far as knowing is concerned, that person, place, or thing does not exist. Space, the first member of the triad of existence, is vacuum and perfect, for it cannot change and cannot be changed because it is nothingness. Space, infinite vacuum, is the unmoved mover. That is, it facilitates the movement of all by offering no resistance to the movement of matter and can attract matter by suction, plus the fact that space cannot move and cannot be moved. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. Listen to reason. Infinite space is also the container of existence because it holds all, every person, place, and thing that exists. Space, eternal vacuum, holds all matter. Furthermore, eternal space is the path in which every person, place, and thing must travel. Space, it the path of all, whereas absolute matter in the positive represents the matter perfection of person and things in nature. Absolute vacuum in the positive represent the space perfection of persons and things because vacuum is perfect, unchangeable, unmovable, and is blackness, and blackness is the only perfect and absolute color or color condition in nature, for all other colors come out of black. Vacuum is the magnetic opposite of matter, and it hides matter and germinates it in the cover of darkness. Vacuum is hider of the hidden in nature like spin energy, sound, and thought. Vacuum is also magical and magnetic together with matter and time. Vacuum is the darkness of nature where physical light is absent, yet light hides in darkness. Vacuum is the germinator of matter, and the male factors of matter are the impregnator. Vacuum is the balancer in nature and of nature by supporting justice and causing atmospheric disturbances like storms, tornadoes, hurricanes, cyclones, etc. to bring matter of nature back into balance when a universe orb tends to go off course. An absolute vacuum is the positive of the triad of existence in the sense that it is perfect and does not variate or deviate. Thus, it is the absolute void, the perfect void, occupied by matter. According to the annals of nature science, the word vacuum means empty and void of imperfections, and the word space is a variant of the room and word place. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. Listen to reason. So the reader of this book should now see plainly that infinite, eternal, absolute space is the unmoved mover of all, the container of all, the place of us all for all, the path in which all must travel, the perfection for all, the blackness for all, the hider for all, the germinator of all, the balancer for all, the magic, magnetic, and male opposite of matter, and the first member of the existing triad of nature, and these are the purposes of the space of existence. All right, the first point that I want to make is that Kansu is mistaking space, which means room or place, with matter, which matter is defined as anything that takes up space. The nature was very clear that space is the unmovable mover, and it's the opposite of matter, meaning space itself is nothingness. As it is said, it is nothing. It's nothingness. Matter is considered somethingness. This is the opposites of almighty nature. So if you really listen to him, he's making a fool of himself because he's defining matter, and he also is misinterpreting, thinking that the nature of nature is saying that space is empty of matter. This see how simple that is? If you go back and just read the definition for space, it clearly tells you that space is perfect and it's consistent and it doesn't change. It's always been in the state that it's in, which is what? Vacuum. That's why when you look out in space and you see the different movies, when they show you that they have all of these spaceships and shuttles and things that's out there in the movies, whenever a hole is poked in it, everything does what? Sucks out. The Caucasian knows that space is a vacuum. That's obvious. You can look out into space and see all of the darkness is room. All of those clusters of things from a distance look like it's all together, but when they zoom in close on these galaxies, they are great distances apart. All that room is space. When you're talking about the vacuum, that's the suction of it. And when you're talking about, and when he asked the question about why is it that light doesn't travel more than 186,000 miles per feet per second, that in itself, he doesn't understand that all light travels at the same place. I did a little research on that, by the way. And the fact that light is considered a part of matter, and it moves. So the opposite of something is moving is something that is immovable. And that means that light is traveling in a vacuum. And if light is the same speed everywhere, then guess what? The vacuum is the same everywhere. So that means the dark energy, which is space and vacuum, is that energy that sets the stage and sets the limit on all light. All of this crap he was reading from York was copy and paste, and they never asked York, where did you get this from? Because you ain't been to school for nothing. And they want to believe that beings incarnated and told you that. Well, how can incarnated beings incarnate from another dimension and galaxy and give you the same definition that's found in the Caucasian magazines on science way back in 96? Ignorance. There's no way, because I'm pretty sure if we did a little research on the chapter he's reading from, we'll be able to find where York copied that whole thing word verbatim and just put it in the tablets and fascinate everybody off of their ignorance. All right, so that's the point that needs to be equal stood. Vacuum, which you can't see it, but you can see the effects of it. That's what makes all things spin. And that's why Afro Unu said that space causes things like tornadoes and things like that, and hurricane, because that spins on the planet. If you look at the galaxies in the universe, they're moving in a rotational manner. The dark energy that they trying to find, you can't find it, but you can see the effects of it. That's vacuum. The case is closed. Now, since he wants to side with Mr. York, that space is not empty, and that he's defining space as matter. Both of them. Let's see how this same topic is spoken of in a up-to-date book that York put out. Let's just listen to this foolishness. All right, now what you see here, these symbols at the top, right, are actually meta symbols. But let's see what they say first. First, they say these are 3 9s, right? 999. 3 times 9 equals 27. 2 plus 7 equals 9. A cycle or a circle. Sounds cute. Okay. 86. Then it says all the 3 000 for the 3 sons of Ricks. Again, you can't, numerically speaking, it don't make no sense. It can't be 3 9s and then say 3 O's. The symbol for a 9 and a O are not the same.
It's a cipher.
Right, it's a cipher, and neither are they interchangeable. Okay, then it says for the 3 sons that he's saying Marzak, which is still the word Razak, and he threw the word M up there, which is the Arabic word for provider. Marzak, Razak, Ricks. Okay. Then he says the 0 equals time face of a clock. Makes no sense because there was no clocks back then. This is you're talking about is interchangeable with this sign out of the metaneta. All right, so 0 equals time face of a clock. Makes no sense. Then it says 0 equals space absent of form or shape. And see, this is what I was trying to. This is why Consul was so stupid, because he just said that Afro Uno was wrong when he said space isn't empty, but York just said space is absent of form or shape. So if space is not empty, that means it has a shape. Correct? So again, Consul, stay out our lane. I told you, just like the Nine Ball said, that the Phoenician race can only reach 666 in space, matter, and time.
You don't understand this.
Okay, number 2, the Ethiopian descendants, us, the African race, can reach 999 even at 3 south. All right, monkey boy, you don't have the intelligence to understand what the first to be mental resurrected, which is Afro Uno, what he was saying and what he was writing in English. You can't even understand what English is saying. All right, so let's go back to that again. Ignoramus, monkey descendant. All right, you said space. You said Afro Uno was incorrect when he said space was empty. Yet your own master plagiarizing pedophile ruler said that 0, the second 0, is space is absent of form or shape. So as you can see and hear, that York just contradicted itself. According to what he was reading out the tablets, I'm assuming, and what's written here, you can see that there's a contradiction. So the question now we have to ask him, is space empty or is it full? See, this is what we're talking about. See, a liar is never consistent except in lying. But truth and facts, that's always consistent in the positive. Let me put it like that. A lie is consistent in the negative because it contradicts. The truth is consistent in the positive because it always stays in line with itself. So we just, hope y'all stop listening to these clowns. They keep stepping up against sound right reason. We keep telling them that. You can say what you want about me. I have flaws. But the information, the intelligence does not. 9 mind is the corrector of 6 mind. Simple and plain. In various degrees, moving forward and up. So attacking me, it still doesn't help you get past the information. See, we can attack y'all and the knowledge. But y'all can't understand it, and you don't want to accept that you got problems. Just like Mr. Disciple. When he did that second video, he didn't say, "Oh, I made a mistake by calling the tile the tour." He gonna keep going like he never made a mistake. And this is what we talking about. The real coat is you. So let's see what y'all got to say after this, Mr. Consul. Because you done got caught red-handed like a clown. So according to you, which one is it? Is space empty or is it full? Because you can't say that's a school. Space exists. So you ain't gonna be to run back and say, "Oh, that was a school back then." No, sir. No, sir.